everyone. Welcome to Lesson 11 of Project-Based Language Learning. I'm Sai Bhatawadekar. I'm Assistant Professor of Hindi and Urdu at University of Hawaii at Manoa. Today I'm going to talk about creativity as the sixth C of language learning and project, process, and performance-based learning, which includes art, poetry, plays and theater, filmmaking, dance, and much, much more. Today I will talk to you about creativity as the sixth C of language learning, which seamlessly encompasses the other five C's: communication, culture, connections, comparisons, and communities, and project, process, and performance-based learning. Our concerns so far have been: what are some concrete examples of PBLL, and how is PBLL used for all proficiency levels? Creativity starts with a bit of freedom to interpret and improvise, with a nudge to explore the beauty and humor in simple things. Script and vocabulary, for example, can be used with art to explore shapes and learn vocabulary. Poetry writing and recital has worked wonders from beginning to intermediate to advanced levels as well. This simple pattern, for example, noun to adjectives, a comparison, and a full sentence, has yielded beautiful and funny results such as this: love, fresh, sweet, like the drops of first rain, from mango leaves it drips to the depths of my heart. Or a funny one: pizza, simple, multicultural, like friendships, be the cheese that binds. I'll give you another example of children's books in my class. I started off with authentic material, a musical cartoon film from the 1980s in Indian television, initially intended to learn singulars and plurals of nouns. The film also provided cultural discussion on educational, moral, and nationalistic messages in the media. A student suggested the idea of writing children's books inspired by the TV cartoon, and other students happily agreed. Students thus took ownership of what and how they were learning, and were thus personally invested and enthusiastic. We agreed to use vocabulary for animals, numbers, and singular plural patterns. We also agreed that we would write these books at different proficiency levels, with heritage and non-heritage students helping each other. As we went on, we made cross-cultural and cross-temporal comparisons to the children's books in India then and in America now. Additionally, I brought in an authentic current conundrum from the diasporic Indian community. My first-generation Indian friend wanted good children's books for her second-generation Indian-American daughter, but found all the available books all too outdated and moralizing. We recognized that there was a real need for a cross-cultural product which can cope with the fast globalizing cultural values. So we redesigned our product as PowerPoint children's books with animated text and images and recorded voice readings of our stories. This design helped our books function as reading, writing, speaking, and listening materials for ourselves as well. As we presented our books to the class, we appreciated one another's creativity, simplicity, vision, humor, and our own life story. And finally, we sent some of these stories to my friend and others in need. News reports, interviews, and documentary films also work really well from beginning to advanced level of language learning. This genre is great for designing projects about current events, for incorporating cultural activities going on or off campus, and engaging with the community and culture in a meaningful way, for multidisciplinary and interdepartmental topics that may already be part of your students' research interests. Video news reports and interview segments are relatively easily manageable. Designing the project and its step-by-step tasks can itself be a collaborative task in this target language. An interview questionnaire can be designed collaboratively in the same way. Creativity thus integrates heritage and non-heritage students and communities and varied proficiency levels and learning needs, because it evokes different skills than only communicative proficiency, namely the ability to spin metaphors or a story, deliver a dialogue, or even just to be silly, sarcastic, melodramatic, or absurd. Speaking of absurd, melodramas, movie parodies, and trailers have worked wonders from beginning to advanced level language classes. We have done Happy Ending Titanic, Simpsons episode of Apu's Wedding, a recycled love story, Sholay, a Basmati Western, Hand-Me-Down Romeo and Juliet, and Cup Stacking World Cup. These can be very long and complicated projects, which include watching a film with subtitles and discussing its cultural significance, identifying key scenes, rewriting those scenes in L2 in simpler vocabulary and structures, maintaining and analyzing iconic dialogues and song refrains, practicing pronunciation for effective delivery of dialogues, auditions, rehearsals, smoothing out of script, adding, deleting, changing dialogues and scene transitions, collaboratively directing the play, performing it in front of an authentic audience, video recording it as a film, and finally editing and publishing on YouTube. But I want to assure you that these can be projects in beginning level as well. This, for example, the Romeo and Juliet balcony scene, was not so much a Shakespeare translation, but a vocabulary lesson of the synonyms of the word love in Hindi and Urdu. A certain madness to the method must be allowed in these projects in order for the project to evolve organically, for everyone to feel empowered with the creative ownership of the project, for students to play off of each other's ideas in a dynamic way, and for the spontaneity, hilarity, and joy to be fresh and vibrant. Finally, my interpretive dance tool to learn vocabulary and grammar in class has evolved into a community-based dance class with workshops, rehearsals, and teaching every week. To summarize, creative project, process, and performance-based learning is extraordinarily valuable for language acquisition and very long-term retention. Creative projects teach a valuable skill to rephrase and express complex L1 thoughts into succinct and simple L2 vocabulary and structures. At the same time, they push students out of their comfort zone into an adventure. They also foster 21st century skills such as outside-the-box thinking, conflict resolution, cross-cultural connections, use of technology, etc. And even beyond that, creative projects foster courage and confidence, self-esteem and joyous self-discovery, empathy and appreciation, and genuine intellectual, artistic, and personal friendships. So an umbrella creative project that you start hits the 5 C's of language learning: communication, culture, comparisons, connections, and communities. But before long, you realize that you have created a bridge to critical thinking, you have provided comic relief and crossovers to other departments, you have piqued their curiosity and encouraged collaborative work. You have fostered commitment to the project and provided a creative challenge, which they accomplish with courage and confidence. And generally, you have provided an atmosphere of cheerful craziness. And before long, your initial sketch of a creative project has evolved into a beautiful creature. Creativity makes us better learners and happier people.